You have 5 seconds to gain somebody's trust when they land on your Instagram profile. And I can almost guarantee that if you run a service-based business in the family, kid, or education space, you are losing them. And the reason is almost never the content you're posting, it's what you have pinned to your profile, or more accurately, lack thereof. Because if done correctly, these 3 pinned posts can turn a cold audience into an audience that is ready to book. And right now, for most family and education businesses, that real estate is sitting completely empty. And hi, if you're new here, I'm Eden. I work with service-based businesses to build out a brand, website, and content system that actually attracts their dream clients. And I actually run my business while traveling full-time, so yes, I live out of a suitcase permanently. And I want to show you the realities of that, so the real unglamorous side of what it takes to run a business from wherever I land next. So if you want to see what that actually looks like and learn more about brand strategy, positioning, and running a business that actually works, make sure to hit that subscribe button. But for today, we're talking about your Instagram profile. Most family and education businesses don't realize that when someone is landing on your page before they even book with you, inquire with you, or send your profile to a friend, they are not scrolling your whole feed. They're taking in 3 things: your bio, your pinned post, and what they can absorb at a glance. That whole process takes about 5 seconds. And I know pinned posts are not a new feature on Instagram. They've been around since 2022. The problem is most businesses are wasting their prime real estate. They either have one pinned post, which is their logo, and I'm sorry, but nobody cares. It does not scream personal or approachable. In fact, it's doing the opposite, which you don't want to do in a service-based business. The other thing I see them doing is they have this pretty banner going on, which is like a seamless post, which has their business slogan. And again, this is a wasted potential. Otherwise, they have a post that perform well, or a current promotion that they're running, or worst of all, they have nothing pinned at all. And I get it, we are time poor business owners, and we did not get into business wanting to be a social media manager or a content creator. I mean, posting consistently is hard enough. But here's what it's actually costing you. Every person who lands on your profile, so a parent who saw your post, a principal whose colleague mentioned you, or a wellbeing coordinator who was referred to you, is making a decision at that first glance. And if nothing on your profile is set up to answer the questions that they have, they leave. And that is the cost. So this isn't about growing your following or getting more likes. This is about missed clients, missed bookings, and missed opportunities with the exact people you built this business for. Your 3 pinned posts are your most valuable real estate on your profile. So let's talk about how to set them up properly. I want you to think about these 3 pinned posts being like a mini homepage on your Instagram profile. Just like a good website has a hero section that tells you immediately who it's for, an about section that builds connection, and a call to action to tell you what to do next, your 3 pinned posts do exactly the same thing. And together, they take someone from a complete stranger to a warm lead. And this all happens without you having to be online, without you having to answer the same questions over and over, or without you hoping that the algorithm works in your favor and your post is seen by your dream person, because we all know how much the algorithm works like that. First up, we have the trust post, and this post answers the most important question every new visitor has when they land on your profile. Can I trust this business? And for those offering services in the family and education space, this question matters more than almost anywhere else, because trust is so important in this space. Your ideal client, so whether that's a parent wanting you to work with their child or a wellbeing coordinator wanting to bring you into the school, are not just evaluating your service, they're judging you as well. And worst of all, they're doing this in seconds. So the trust post is not a sales post. The second it starts to feel like a promotion, you've lost them. This post is about making her feel seen and understood. And to do that, you need to speak directly to that specific person using their language and describing their exact situation. And I know that as business owners, we can quickly fall into the trap of using specific terms that we know, but to do this, we need to step into our client's shoes and use the words that she's actually using to describe her current situation. So when you're creating this post, I want you to get really specific about that particular person. So don't just use words like families and educators, that's still too broad. Use phrases like the parent of a child with sensory processing differences who has tried absolutely everything, the principal who wants an incursion that gives their students hands-on experiences, or a wellbeing coordinator who's looking for a program that works with teenagers. The more specific you are, the more your dream client is going to read that and feel like like you wrote it specifically for her. So this post hooks her in by speaking directly to her situation, and then it needs to speak to the outcome you create for her. And the key word there is outcome, not the service that you deliver. Avoid saying something like, I provide speech therapy for children. Instead, try, I help kids find their voice and the confidence to use it. Because what is going to make your client invest is the outcome you give them. So lead with that. Now, for the actual visuals that you use in this post, please do not use your logo. And do not be tempted to use a stock photo either, because this post needs to show you, your work, or like a real moment that captures what you do. And you can do this in either a video or a carousel format. This post is all about building trust. It's literally called the trust post. And what builds trust is authenticity. And what is more authentic than showing real photos or footage of you? The story post answers the second question every new visitor has, and that is, who is this person and why should I care? In the education and family space, when you're selling a service, your ideal client is making a decision based on who you are just as much as what you do. So this post is all about making a new visitor feel like they know you without even having to have a conversation with them. But I also want to be really specific about what this is not, because I see this so much in the service-based industry, and that is the need to show your qualifications. But I want to remind you that this is not your resume and this is not a LinkedIn bio. So when you go to write this post, don't write something like, I have 10 years experience in early childhood development, because I know that feels like the credible version, but I want to remind you that this is Instagram. It's a social space. What this post needs to be is the real story of why you created this business. So when you go to create it, I want you to imagine that you're sitting down and telling a friend over coffee. So go back and think about that specific moment. Was it a conversation you had, a student that you couldn't stop thinking about, a gap that you kept observing? Because that story is what turns a cold profile visitor into someone that feels a genuine connection into what you're building. And connection is what makes people remember you, come back to you, recommend you to others, or choose you over somebody else. Now for the call to action on this post, because again, it is not a sales post, it needs to be something that starts a conversation and builds a relationship. So close with a specific question that she can actually answer. Something like, are you a teacher noticing the same gap in your school? Or parents, I'd love to hear different strategies you're using to introduce food to your kids. Give her something real to respond to, because this is how you actually start building a community and not just an audience. The action post is the post that answers the final question a visitor has when they land on your page, and that is, what do I do next? Without this post, interested visitors have nowhere to go. They read your trust post and they feel seen. They read your story post and they've connected with you, and then they just leave because there's no clear final next step. The action post gives them that final step. And for this post, we have one really important rule, and that is one clear call to action, just one. So not book a call, download this free thing, DM me, and make sure you're following. Because what happens is when there's too many options, people choose none. So pick the one action that matters most to your business right now. So that might be booking a call or downloading a freebie, but make it the entire focus of this post. You also need to be really specific about what happens when they take that action. So not just book a call, it's book a free 20-minute call and we can discuss whether this program is the right fit for your child. Or not just DM me, try DM me the word ready so that I can send you the link to book your first session. The more specific you are, the lower the friction. And the lower the friction, the more people will actually do it. Now, these three posts only work when they work together, and they need to work in a sequence. So when you pin them, they actually need to be pinned in reverse order. Your Instagram profile, it reads left to right. So you need to pin your action post, then your story post, and then your trust post. That way they'll flow correctly left to right when someone lands on your profile. When it comes to format, I really recommend making your 3-pin posts as reels, only because when somebody discovers your profile through a reel, they'll land on your reels tab. And what this means is your pin posts, if they are carousels, they're not gonna appear there. So just having them as reels covers all bases. That said though, carousels can still work really well, especially for the story posts, because I do find telling the story about why you started your business can sometimes fit better on a carousel than in a 30-second video. That said though, you know your audience best, you know what performs well on your own Instagram, so if carousels do perform better, then make them all carousels. Or if reels and carousels both perform equally well, maybe you want to mix it up. The one overarching rule though, when you go to create these posts, do not make a single static image. As we've discussed throughout the whole video, the whole point of these 3-pin posts is to build trust, relationships, and authenticity with your community, and a single static post cannot do that. So please, please, please bid adieu to that pinned logo post. So now you know the system. The 3-pin posts work together in a sequence to take a cold profile visitor into a warm lead without you having to be online, without you relying on the algorithm, or without you answering the same questions again and again every time someone lands on your profile. But if you're sitting here thinking, okay, Eden, I understand the concept, but like, what do I actually write? How do I structure each one? Like, please, please, please spell it out for me. Do not fear, I've got you, and even better, it is currently free. The 3-pin posts that do the selling for you is a guide that I've made specifically for service-based businesses in the family and education space. It walks through each post in so much detail. It tells you what to include, how to structure it, how to write the captions for it. I even have templates so that you aren't starting from scratch every time. And I also have a checklist so that you can run through it before you hit post. And if you want to grab the link to download that, it's in the description below. But if you're at the point in your business where you feel like it's more than just these 3-pin posts that need the work, it's your brand, your website, your whole content system, you're feeling like something is fundamentally off and you're just not quite sure how to fix it, that is exactly what the business reboot is for. And the link to that is also in the description below. And make sure you hit subscribe to see more business tips and advice from the girlie who runs hers out of a suitcase, and I'll see you in the next one.